Okay, so there's just a couple more things that we need to do to the navigation. And so we need to add, well, everything's still underlined, so we don't like that. So what we need to do is actually we need to get to the A of this. And I'm looking at something here. There seems to be extra things in here. Why is that? I shouldn't have all these extra A's in here. So not really sure where my code. Okay. Must have been when I did that by hand. So that's all right. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to get to the A of this. All right, so what we need to do is we need to go back over here, File, Save All. And when we go under our CSS Designer, we need to add a selector. But this time it's going to be nav list item, and it's just going to be A, not just the A at the end, which is fine. Nav list item A. All right, perfect. So now in here, we have to add some properties. So nav list A, make sure it's selected. Then we're going to click on properties, and we are going to click on text, and it says text decoration. And we want to do the none, which is the box with the slash through it. And we also want to go up, and we need to find display. There it is, display, and we're going to do block, display block. And the lines have already disappeared, which is good. And while we're here, let's add some padding, because right now it's really cramped in there. So let's do the top. Let's do 14 for the top, and we're going to do 16, and we'll do 16. Let's see what that looks like. That looks much nicer. There's breathing room. That's good. Now, do I want to keep it blue? Yeah, well, I could. Let's look at color. So we're going to look at color. Color, and let's see if we want to do this. The blue works, doesn't it? But if you needed to change color, you could go in here and change color. And I'm okay with that, actually. So we're going to just leave it alone. So, oh, I changed it to black. I didn't want to change it to black. But I'm showing you where you can change your color, okay? So we'll put color in there. That's fine. And now, that's that. Okay, so that's good. Now, the next thing we need to do is, so we've got, these buttons are working. They're coming along nicely. Now, the other thing we could do is do a hover color, right? So that when people hover it over it, it would change colors. And that's very common. So what we would do is we'd stay where we are, but we would need, oh, we've got to apply this list item, don't we? Yes, we do. No, actually that's good. Yep. So that's good. Now what we need to do is hover. So we need to do one more thing, and that is create another selector. And we're going to create a selector, and it's going to be nav list item A. Okay. A, and we're going to put a semicolon, and we're going to go hover. And when you did the semicolon, or the colon, it should show a hover. It's a colon, not a semicolon. So it's nav list A colon, and then it gave you the option for hover. Now in here, we're going to go back to our color, and we're going to change the color so that we can see a difference. And we all know that I'm fascinated with the color orange, so we'll leave it at that. So that now when we go over it, it changes to orange. Now the other thing we could do is we could do background color. So let's go to background color. And this is very common too, so that when they hover, the actual color, when we click on it, so it's going to be orange. So let's do that. And you're going, so now see how it changes the color. Now, would I do this particular color scheme? Probably not, but I just wanted to show you, okay? So do not hate me because I'm just trying to show you, you know, the how this works, okay? So there's that. All right, so excellent. So that is our navigation is all set. All right, so this is just a little video. So now what I need to do is we need to look at this aside and we need to look at the section. So let's look at the aside. So the aside is, so essentially I want these to be left and right of each other. So we're going to actually add some styling to this right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a selector, and we're going to get rid of the word body. We're just doing the aside. And I'm going to look at the general layout because I'm going to actually give a width on this. And we're going to, I'm going to say a percentage, but not 0. So let's do 30, or let's do 40. That's perfect. Okay. And now what I want to do, so that's going to be there now, because I may want to add additional stuff in here in that aside, right? So now we're going to go to the section, and I want the section to be up over here. So we're going to add another selector. Oh, why are you saying that when it should be section? All right, let's see if we can section, and I'm going to go back to the aside one for a second. So let me click on aside for a second, and because I forgot to float it, I want to make sure it always floats left. There we go. And now I want to take the section. Let's click on section, and we're going to float it right. We haven't changed. Now notice our footer just went up, but that's okay because I've got to now change the section. So I'm on section, so I need to change the width on this. So the width on this is going to be pixels, and we're going to open it up. And we're having it float right. Okay. All right. So I'm okay with that for right now. I'm just showing you. So I have two sections. This is the aside. It's floating left. This is this, and it's floating right. Now, let's fix this footer for a second. Okay, so before we go any further, let's click this footer. Okay, so what happens when you say you do float left and right? The footer will go and decide it has to jump up. So what we have to do, the first thing we have to do for the footer is actually we have to tell it to clear. There's a float none. And see what happened? It just dropped down. Now, I'm not sure why my little I wonder if it's because I don't have enough content. Maybe I got to put some height on that one. So the aside. So let me go back to the aside for a second. Let me add some height. I'm going to put some pixels here because we're going to add some height. You're supposed to click and drag. I'm not really sure. So there it is. Now, I don't know why my section is doing why it's doing that. So let me go to section. Section is supposed to float right. There we go. Okay, now, come on, footer. Footer is supposed to be, let's go back to our footer again. Because I didn't, all right, that's my problem because I did not add a selection. So add a selection for footer. See, you guys didn't catch me. Footer, now let's do this. And let's make sure footer is none, float none, which it is. Okay, so footer. So you have to add every selection and then you put it in there. Okay, footer is none, and we'll go ahead and add a color in here, background color, just so that you can see it. And again, don't hate me because of the color scheme. All I'm doing is trying to show you basic layout, okay? So right now, we've got a header, we've got a navigation, we have an aside, and we have a section, and we have a footer. Now, hopefully, and I'm going to show you a couple more things here, but this is already the basis right here, okay? So let me go ahead and stop here, and I'll add maybe an image, and maybe we'll fill out this out a little bit more. All right, guys.